Look, I keep saying on this program that there's a top priority here, and it should be a top priority in just about everything, and that is the truth. If you won't start with the truth, if you deny the truth, if you avoid it or try to hide it, first up, you're going to stuff up. But second, the truth is going to out eventually anyway. So let me update you again on how an organisation that takes more than $1 billion of your money under false pretences, it turns out, every year, has spent the past year not only trying to avoid the truth, refusing to chase the truth, but attacking those who've pursued it. There's been a significant and telling development on this today, which I'll share with you in a moment. But first, let's recap some of the history here. We're talking about the ABC and the biggest story in the world right now, the origins of the COVID-19 pandemic. For more than a year on this channel and elsewhere, we've looked at evidence that the virus could have escaped accidentally from the Wuhan Institute of Virology. The laboratory is known to have been working with similar viruses, known also to be working on biological warfare research, and evidence emerged from early last year about the lab shutting down, possibly because of concerns about a leak, just weeks before the first COVID cases were revealed. Later, there were also reports of lab workers being hospitalised. So from May last year, we've reported these developments, and to show you how the ABC has tried to repeatedly to debunk them. Most of the stories have been broken by Sharri Markson, first with the Daily Telegraph, then with the Australian on this channel. But instead of other media following her leads, the ABC and prominent leftists like former Labor foreign ministers Bob Carr and Gareth Evans, they've attacked Sharri Markson's journalism. They've dissed her lab leak theory and strenuously backed the denials coming out of Beijing. These people have ignored the evidence and attacked the journalist trying to get to the truth. Here's what I said about this a year ago. Just maybe something happened at the lab. We don't know. We need to know. And we simply can't be sure of where this virus came from until there's a full, independent, transparent investigation. And the only people in the world who reckon we don't need one of those are Xi Jinping and the Beijing Politburo. Oh, and also Bob Carr, Gareth Evans, Laura Tingle and Paul Barry. Yeah, that's more than a year ago. It was that clear more than a year ago, and Markson herself was making a similar point to US audiences.
Again, in Australia, like in the US, there are, of course, those left-wing sections of the media that don't want to believe that this virus may have leaked from a laboratory. And of course, we don't know that yet. That's being investigated, but they don't want to even think about it. So, you know, already there have been attacks from that angle here as well.
Now, none of this dissuaded Sharri. She continues to break news on this story, and she's going to publish her findings in a book within months. But right from the outset, the ABC has put more of its resources, spent more of your money trying to discredit Markson rather than investigate the virus origins.
So how likely is it that the virus escaped from that Chinese lab? Well, in short, it's not.
Really? Nothing to see here, just your taxpayer-funded national broadcaster smashing Australian journalism and towing the Beijing line. The ABC's Paul Barry also said this.
We also think Markson should have told readers that almost every virus expert had dismissed the lab escape theory.
Except that would have been wrong. Barry was urging Markson to mislead the public with erroneous information. He was promoting China's propaganda over Markson's journalism. Media Watch had another go a week later, not at getting to the truth, just at trying to undermine Markson's reporting, questioning her sources and motives. It's a classic trick of the left. Forget the facts. Go straight to perceived motives.
If the telly has been used to push the White House line, and the dossier is as dodgy as Australian intelligence sources claim, that is surely a truth we all need to know. The latest news is that Mike Pompeo has now admitted the Wuhan lab theory might be wrong.
Ah, yes, this is why the ABC was so opposed to the lab leak theory, because it might have suited the agenda of the then President Donald J. Trump. They are really that pathetic, predictable and deplorable, aren't they? Markson doesn't claim to know the source of the pandemic, but it's reported that intelligence agencies are interested in the lab leak theory. Some evidence supports it, and virology experts back more investigation. It's hard to imagine anyone not wanting to find out. But denial and incuriosity has been the standard line from Beijing and from Australia's national broadcaster. Here is the ABC's self-proclaimed national health expert again in May last year.
This is a natural mutation jumping to humans, either directly from bats or through another animal yet to be discovered, but it's not from the lab.
Wow, such certitude. As I've shown you in recent weeks, evidence pointing to a possible lab leak has mounted, so that after a year of denials, look what bobbed up on the ABC this morning.
Hey Norman, I just want to talk about a story that's come up in the Wall Street Journal, some big sort of investigations into the origin of coronavirus and the connection to a Wuhan lab. What can you tell us?
So there's a group of scientists in the United States and internationally very critical of the independent investigation into the origins of the virus. I think they missed out important data. It's being reported well by journalists, Wall Street Journal, as you say. Matthew Knotts reported on it in The Age.
Oh, come on, The Age? The Fairfax Press? Is Swan so bitter and disingenuous he can't even credit that it's been Markson and News Corp that have revealed this stuff for more than a year? Still, listen as he performs a complete backflip from his previous position.
There's indications that virologists in the Wuhan Institute got sick in November with an illness. So there are increasing signs that the Institute of Virology may well be the source. And interesting, Professor Raina McIntyre at the University of New South Wales has always said this is a likely possibility.
What? There might have been a lab leak? It always looked like there might have been a lab leak? Sherry Markson's reporting has been right for a year? Really? They've suddenly come to this conclusion? I look forward to the ABC apology from Norman Swan, from Paul Barry, from the lot of them. Swan and the ABC have made repeated errors throughout this pandemic. In this case, the stubborn refusal to deal with the truth was driven by their Trump derangement syndrome. And they finally dared to consider the truth a full year later. Remind me again who's in charge at the ABC and why we fund them?